Now we're going back to the story of the tanker explosion that happened earlier today in Niger State. Reports indicates that at least 73 people have died as we speak at the moment. Now, join us to discuss this further is Public Affairs Analyst Jide Ojo. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Jide Ojo.
It's my pleasure. Good evening.
Good evening
Happy
to you.
weekend.
Good evening to you, sir. Now, this is one too many in the past year. And if you look at the history of Nigeria in the last decade, this tragic incident that happened in Niger State today, are there any ongoing efforts to mitigate environmental hazards resulting from such avoidable explosions and fires that you know about?
Well, I'm not too sure whether we are taking sufficient preventive measures because it seems like all that has been happening followed the same pattern. A truck will usually tumble, and then instead of people to move far away from it, they want to either go and scoop fuel or whatever. The Dikko Junction, the one that happened earlier today, from what I gathered, a tanker driver had an issue, and they wanted to move the fuel from one tanker to another, and in the process, they brought a power generating set to be able to power the pumping. And it is in the course of that what happened. And quite unfortunately, we've lost scores of people, 73 or thereabout, dead, about 50 injured and in hospital. That's huge fatalities. And remember, recently we had one that happened in Duse, in Jigawa State. And it's always medicine after death, mourning and shouting and lambasting and kicking and passing the buck. But I think what we need more of is enlightenment, because things like this, particularly when you have very bad road network, you cannot 100% prevent accident from happening. But when it does happen, there is always the need to get people to move away as far as their legs can carry them from that scene, rather than staying behind and saying, I'm doing my own business, I don't have to run. Because if the people around that accident scene realize the inflammable nature of the fuel that was being pumped from one truck to another, they will know that there could be conflagration that could consume everything in its path. And unfortunately, many of those who are caught in this crossfire are just bystanders and people who are doing businesses in their respective shops and all of that. So quite unfortunately, I guess we need to do a lot more in terms of public enlightenment on what to do when incidents like this happen. Whether it's even a stationary vehicle that has broken down, or a vehicle, a truck, articulated vehicle carrying inflammable materials. Once you see that kind of accident scene, don't wait, don't even go near. Run as fast as your leg can carry you. If you are doing business in that vicinity, leave everything. If you cannot move your business, if it's an immovable business, just run for your dear life. And this kind of conflagration could have been avoided. But unfortunately, I think many of those who are caught in this unfortunate incidents were not sufficiently enlightened about the implications of what was going to happen in the course of pumping fuel from one articulated vehicle to the other.
Now, Mr. Jide Ojo, in other climes when this sort of thing happens, I mean, 73 human lives is quite a lot of number. You would see that a panel of inquiry would have happened, would be constituted to look into the immediate cause of this, and those found guilty will be penalized. So we have a whole litany of issues that happened today. The sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps said the tanker was not properly latched onto its flatbed. There are also those eyewitnesses said that road is very bad, the Dikko Junction. And you also have the issue of sensitization of the people. Like you rightly said in your opening statement, this is not the first time it's happening, and I'm not too sure, I'm not a doomsayer, that it wouldn't happen again in the past. But if we do not take care of these issues or have a serious approach to it rather than just, reactions, a reactionary approach to it, it will happen again. So how do we prevent similar incidents from occurring in the past, in the future, learning from this?
You see, I do not subscribe to setting up a panel of inquiry on something that is quite open, because it's when you don't want to take action, you set up panel of inquiry, they sit for 1 month, and then there will be white paper and all of that. This is a very clear case of negligence. As I've said, the sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Commission said there are lapses. The tanker was not properly latched. The road is bad. So do you need to set up a committee to investigate all of that? We all know the state of our roads. There was a time I was traveling from Abuja to Southwest, and there was this heavy traffic, so much so that the vehicle in which I was traveling was right beside an articulated vehicle. Throughout the period we spent in that traffic, I was just prayerful in my heart that something should just not happen. Because if there had been a conflagration on that day, if there had been something that ignites, fire, there would have been thousands of people dead, and we would just have been made mincemeat of. We need to fix the state of our roads to make them motorable. That's number one thing we need to do. Whether it's properly latched or not, if that road network, because this has been a recurring decimal, most of the places where you have this kind of incident, even in that Niger state, it has happened more than once, twice. In the recent past, I'm not even talking of maybe 5-7 years ago. In the recent past, in the same Niger state, it happened some few months ago, just because the road network was bad. So we need to improve, particularly during this period when there is no rain. Let FEMA moves in and make the road motorable. Even if they cannot put asphalt on it, let them deal with all the potholes on our roads. Then secondly, the Road Safety Commission needs to inspect these articulated vehicles to be sure that they are motorable, they are roadworthy. The roadworthiness of many of these articulated vehicles are never checked. I don't know whether it's a case of corruption or negligence, because the road safety network, the Federal Road Safety Commission and the vehicle inspection officers, the VIOs and the FRSC staff were supposed to work harmoniously to make sure that any vehicle that is found not to be roadworthy are impounded. If they have done their due diligence to be sure that this vehicle that is traveling on this road is not properly latched, or that something is wrong, maybe one of the tires some of the tires are bad, because when you have these articulated vehicles with 16 tires, sometimes the owner of the vehicle will just gloss over 1 or 2 bad tires, believing that after all, these remaining 14 can carry it. And it is the work of the vehicle inspection officers and the work of Federal Road Safety Commission to inspect vehicles. So number 2, we need to do something about vehicle inspection. The third point is what I've said earlier on, which is sensitization as to the community where these kind of things happen, that people need to be educated and sensitized in local languages, that when you see incidences like this, run as fast as you can from the scene of that. Don't go and be watching what is happening, because anything that carries an inflammable substance is a danger waiting to happen.
Very volatile. Yes.
It's a danger waiting to happen. So we need those tripartite solutions. We need to fix the road. We need to do more vehicle inspection to make sure that vehicles on the road are roadworthy, and then the enlightenment and sensitization. I think with these 3 done, we will have less and less occurrences of this kind of mishap.
Thank you.
Unfortunately. But I also must state that those who are injured and are in hospital, the Niger State government should come to their aid and help them to pay for the hospital bills, because this is not any fault of theirs. So the Niger State government should help the victims who are alive to get back on their feet. For those who are injured, let's salvage their lives. Let's give them as best medical care to make sure that they bounce back to life. For those who are still living.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jide Ojo, for your brilliant insights. Thank you.